Pisces, happy December 2017. This is Dark Dove Tarot. Hope you are doing fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. As you know, I pre-shuffle, but I'm going to add a little more energy before we get started. So, again, I hope you are doing wonderful. December, right? Unbelievable. It's going to be the second to last read. I'm going to do some mid-month reads. I'm going to do kind of a choose your own path adventure type style. Anyways, you'll see it. Hopefully you like it. If you don't, you guys can always let me know. Any likes, subscribes, comments, etc. are greatly appreciated. You know, I'd like to know what you guys feel, think, what makes you happy, because, you know, the intention is to give you a read that's beneficial and something that's going to make sense to you. Or something that's going to, you know, resonate with you. Again, this is general, so you have to check your sun, moon, and rising, as some months those may resonate with you more than others. But the intent is to give you some valuable information that hopefully you can take along your journey. All right, so Pisces. Again, this is for love, for singles. And I bring up anybody looking to reconcile, but this is mainly for anybody who is single. And it is focused on love. If I notice something like, you know, financials or whatnot, I will bring those up as well. Okay. Again, any likes, comments, subscribes are greatly appreciated. If you want a private read, the information is in the description. All right. Let's get started for Pisces, December 2017. Let me pull a theme of the month card. Happy almost 2018. It's crazy, right? Just keeps going by faster and faster the older I get. So, oh, that's not a very good shuffle. Let's see what December has in store for Pisces. Gosh, these cards all of a sudden do not want to move. Oh, and that one just fell out on the floor. Let's see what that is. Okay. All right, so you have the Hermit card. All right, Pisces. So your theme of the month is the Hermit card, which is kind of going back into your woman or man cave, just kind of relaxing, getting some spirituality, retreat type meditation, focusing more on yourself, focusing on positive energy, you know, deflecting any negative energy. So whether you're single or looking to reconcile, this is, you know, actually a really good theme to have, I think, because anytime you take a step back and really look at things and gain the wisdom, there's nothing negative about that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So let's see how the month plays out. So coming into the month, well, just to mention too, the Hermit is also the Virgo card. So some of you may be thinking about a Virgo, maybe have dated a Virgo, maybe you're dating a Virgo or trying to reconcile with a Virgo, but anytime I see the Hermit card, it absolutely screams Virgo. And what's interesting about this deck, Illuminating the Prophecy, is I always thought it was interesting because there's a V. And I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's one of the reasons I always think of Virgo when I see this particular deck pull Hermit. I tend to always think of Virgo when I think of Hermit, but more brazen with this deck. All right, so Pisces, let's see what your current position is this month, coming into the month. All right, so that ties really well with the Hermit card because this is the Eight of Pentacles or coins. This is a very hardworking, diligent card. This is somebody who's being very dutiful. You know, you're working really hard, but you also have a lot of stamina to get a lot of things done. So that may just reflect with like the busy time of the year of the holidays, especially here in the US. But if you're single, this is like you're putting a lot of work into yourself. Again, that ties really nicely with the Hermit card because this isn't, I mean, yes, you're putting work into dating. Yes, you're probably looking for different avenues to date. Although some of you, I don't think are dating right this moment. And if you are, or you're going to start, that's exactly what you're doing, is putting the energy into finding what website's the best, what is, you know, an alternative to the website, what is another option for Pisces to date and find love. But at the same time, you're, you know, you're kind of encompassing everything right now. You're being very diligent with work. You're being very diligent with your kids or your family or your pets or your home. So this is kind of well-rounded coming into the month. And I feel like you feel settled, and so you're ready to bring somebody into that. You're also putting a lot of work into, so it's very interesting. I've been learning about vibrational energy and things like that. And one of the things that somebody had said a while back about if you want to find somebody is to almost prepare like they're there so they fit. Even if you have never met them, or even if maybe you're dating them and it's somebody you think is going to go long term. I was even told, you know, like park your car on one side of the driveway or sleep on one side of the bed, etc. So to each his own, right? Everybody's going to work on finding love their own way, but I thought that was very interesting. And because this work card comes up, it's not just work financially, although it does represent, you know, being diligent with your work. But this is working on a lot of things, especially yourself, Pisces. I think water signs in general are working on themselves, have kind of turned a corner coming into December. Also very interesting that this is an earth sign card, and Virgo is an earth sign. So earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. Maybe you're going to meet a Virgo, maybe you've been dealing with a Virgo. If you're looking to reconcile, I feel like you're putting all of your energy into work and kind of avoiding the love life, like the love life spotlight. You're not really wanting to be in it because you're not really flourishing in it, because you're not really sure, you know, how you feel about love at this point. And that's really the best way to say it, Pisces. The feeling I get is that you're not sure about your feelings. Like, you like this person, you miss them, but do you really miss them? Or is it just because you haven't met somebody new? If you met somebody new, would you be able to get over them? So let's see. The next card you have are any feelings that help or hinder your current position. This is your feelings coming into the month. So Pisces, this is saying that you're feeling inspired, but you also want to inspire people. If you're single, the King of Wands is somebody who is kind of a leader. They inspire people. They're ethical. They have good morals. And this is saying that inside you're, you know, aspiring, not inspiring, but aspiring to be the best you can. And you're also wanting to put yourself out there. You know, as we always say, whatever you put in the universe, you get back. And you want to put out into the universe this amazing person that you know you are and what you have to offer, to then get that and reciprocate that and get that in return. So you're kind of being bold this month. I think that you're going to start off slow. I think that a lot of you, like I said, aren't dating. If you do, you're going to kind of, you know, put your toe in and see if you get any, like, you know, interesting feelings, or if you meet any interesting people. But you're not going to dive right in, because you've done that before and it was a mess, and you're not wanting to ruin this new experience with any maybe animosity towards bad experiences. But you're definitely taking a big step, because I think you're coming out this month in saying, oh, and some of you might be coming out this month. I don't know why, but that just tied in. But I think you're coming out this month in saying, you know, I'm leading the way. I'm going to reinvent myself and reinvent the way I date. And you're just like, I refuse to do this, you know, slide left, slide right, or whatever it is. I'm like, we're doing this. I'm going, you know, go big or go home. But you're not going to be out there like this player mentality, dating as many people as you can. But I think you are kind of coming up with different ways to date. Or you're going to, like, if you are going to do online, you're going to put like a profile out there and be like, hey, this is me, take it or leave it. And people are going to be like, whoa, this is actually a human being who is genuinely putting their feelings out there, instead of, you know, masquerading around as somebody else. So very interesting, Pisces. It seems like this month might be a little bit of an adventure for you. If you're looking to reconcile, I think that you feel like you're being the bigger person. I feel like you're kind of calm and you've retreated into your, you know, cave, kind of like, I'm here and I do care about you, but I'm not willing to play this game or battle this battle anymore. So when you're ready to be real with me, and when you're ready to be genuine with me, and when you're ready to solve things together instead of pointing fingers and having any ugliness in between, I'm here. But I'm going to take the higher road right now. And you may be getting texts, or you may start to get texts, or somebody maybe, you know, coming at you saying, you know, what's going on? Why aren't you talking to me? Whatever. And if they're not getting the responses they want, or if you're not responding, they're getting ugly. And this is you just saying, I'm going on higher ground. I'm not going to do this. Now, on the flip side of that, it could be you saying, you know, even though you know that you weren't to blame, or that you were necessarily to fault, although it always takes two, regardless of how nasty it gets. Nobody can say they're perfect in the relationship, but this could also be you saying, I'm going to bite the bullet and contact them, because maybe they haven't contacted you and you haven't contacted them, but you're missing them a lot, and you're just kind of like, okay, I'm going to be the bigger person here, and even though I still have feelings that are hurt, I still love and miss you, and so I want to reconnect. So you may be doing the opposite, where you're saying, I'm going to be the leader here. I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm going to take the step out and say, hi, would you like to talk? The next card you have is your distant past. So over the past 5-10 years, and you have the Three of Cups. So this card is, I always read the distant past for singles and anybody looking to reconcile together, because it's usually distant. Some of it goes into your childhood. But it's very interesting. This card seems almost perfect for you, Pisces, and it is a cup, which is a water sign, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. And this is saying that you've been partying, or you did back in the day. Again, this is 5-10 years ago, but maybe back in college, your focus was, you know, college and partying, or maybe partying more than college. Or somewhere along the line, you lost sight of what you really wanted. A lot of you had relationships that were based on lust, based on going to the bar, based on going to the clubs, or you preferred just being single, or, you know, nothing ever seemed to get past that. Like, nothing ever seemed to move into the next level with you. Not saying you didn't have relationships, but some of you really wanted marriage and kids and a dog and a white picket fence, and you always feel like you never got that. It was never as serious as that. It never got to that direction. And some of you was partying. It was alcohol or drugs or something that you just don't incorporate, or at least not as much as you did back in the day. So this says that you had some really good times, and you appreciate that. And around the holidays, sometimes you get nostalgic, because, you know, those are great Christmas parties and fun times and excuses to maybe party a little more, or whatever the case is. And this says that you're really starting to realize you're doing this hermit, where you've gained the wisdom that if you continue that path, then that's what you're going to continue to get. Those are the type of people you're going to continue to meet. And you're working really hard to find somebody special. And this doesn't have to be like, oh, it was just party, party, party. It could just be that, you know, you took a lot of trips and went on adventures, and you didn't want to really sit still, and you weren't wanting a big committal. Some of you really did, and it didn't seem to get that way, but the terms of the relationships are always based on lust or partying or whatever. Or some of you wanted to get there, but you just never did, and it wasn't bad. Some of you just didn't want to do it then. It wasn't the right time. You weren't ready to settle down. You weren't ready to, you know, say the L word, or, you know, I picture somebody sitting there on the couch with somebody else, and they're having a deep conversation, and like, you just can't muster that L word. You're like, yeah, because you weren't in that spot. And so now I feel like it's a complete, you know, flip for you, Pisces, because you're ready, and you're getting ready, and you're gearing up to make it happen. The next card you have is your immediate past. So the past few weeks, past month or two, and you have Hangman. And this guy has been showing his head a lot. That and the Star, which the Star is an excellent card, so I'll never get annoyed with that. And the Hangman actually isn't a bad card either. It's a major arcana. And the Hangman is about sacrifice, wisdom, self-awareness, understanding what you need to do to make changes in your life, which I think this read is very succinct, and it's very interesting, because a lot of signs this month are getting, you know, changes. Maybe it's because of the new year coming up, but a lot of signs have had some very, like, internal vibes as far as making things happen. Now, these two cards are very similar, because, I mean, literally almost the textbook definition is wisdom on both of those. Now, several other things, but for the Hanged Man, it's about sacrificing things. And I think that you're sacrificing this. You're sacrificing this ultimate need to have an adventure, because you've realized if you're single, you don't have to have, you don't have to quit having fun and having an adventure and partying a little bit or doing fun things, you don't have to quit that just because you want marriage or just because you want a steady relationship. But I think it's wearing on you physically, mentally, etc. as well. Burning the midnight oil or the candle on both ends or whatever cliche thing I can say eventually gets exhausting, right? And so the Hanged Man is saying, look, if I really want somebody who's going to take me seriously, who wants to settle down with me, who wants something more than just a good time, then I really have to figure out what that is to me, what I do want, what the ultimate goal is, and what type of person I want to do that with. And then I'm not sacrificing anything because I'm getting somebody who feels right, fits into that type of scenario, whether you want marriage, whether you never want to get married and just want a partner, a relationship long term. You're figuring that out now, and you don't end up hanging yourself out to dry, so to speak, because you can find somebody that fits in all of those pieces, and you'll fit in all of those pieces for them. So if you're single, this is actually not a bad place to be because it's all about being self-aware. And if you're self-aware, you can be a better partner and you can find a better partner. If you're looking to reconcile, this is also you. This goes along with this king. You're going to have to be the bigger person here, Pisces. Somebody is not wanting to have a conversation with you. Again, it could be this Virgo or it could be this earth sign, but somebody is not wanting to, and they may have been completely wrong. And I'm sure I'm going to get a message from people, maybe 1, maybe 5, because I always get messages or emails from people who are like, you know, you're wrong. And it's like, okay, it's a general read. And so I feel like this is you having to step up regardless of whether you were at fault. Now, like I said, can you go through your relationship and be like, I was perfect always? No, nobody can. But they may have been the one who slighted you. They may have been the one who did wrong. But this Hanged Man is saying that they're almost like an ostrich with their head in the sand. That they're sitting here going, you know, I messed up. I don't even know where to begin. This person's not going to talk to me. And so you might actually have to make contact, even though they may have been the one to lie or cheat or something to that nature. I don't necessarily feel like it was something very tragic, but again, I'm sure somebody's going to message me and let me know it was. However, you have to think about it. If you're watching a video wondering about reconciliation and the possibilities, then your heart is still connected somehow. So if you want that, isn't it easier to make a move and take some action and try and get it? Because if they say no, or if it turns out it blows up in your face and it doesn't work, you're no worse off than you are now, because at least you know and you can move on versus sitting and contemplating or second guessing the what ifs and the, you know, whodunits. All right, the next card you have is your distant future. So over the next few months, and you have the sun. And the sun is beautiful, always shining bright. If you're single, this says that over the next few months, you're seeing things clearly. It's very interesting. Your cards are like perfectly aligning, right? Because one of the meanings of the sun is also self-awareness, which you have here with the Hanged Man. So some of you have some big things to start figuring out. Maybe you were a playboy or a playgirl and you didn't take love seriously and nobody took you. I say take because maybe you have been dating a lot of people and the way you're approaching it is kind of this, hey, charming, blah, blah, but maybe you're putting it on a little too thick. Although it's interesting because Pisces are water signs, and water signs tend to wear their heart on the sleeve a little more than, say, an earth sign, or say like a fire sign. And so the sun says that you're more self-aware of what you're doing that maybe is creating a rift in the possibility of you meeting somebody. Again, you have the hope and you could see the solutions. And the sun is saying you figured it out. So whatever it is here that you're figuring out these new ways to date, or you're figuring out the people you want to date and you want to leave the past in the past, the sun is saying, look, here's your future. It's bright. You can see it. It's clear-sighted. And there's a lot of hope here, and you're finding solutions. So this is meeting somebody. I mean, look, they're dancing under the sun. This is embracing what you really want, going for it, but also being very aware of how to go about doing that and achieving your goal. If you're looking to reconcile, there is hope here. There is some sort of possibility for reconciliation, but this is also self-awareness. So like I said, you may be going, oh no, dark dove, they wronged me, and I get that. But this is the sun saying, if you put a little hope and you come up with some solutions. Like, hey, if you approach this person or you contact them or you guys have some sort of contact, which I feel like most of you aren't, if you reach out to them again, and if they're in contact with you and they agree and you guys decide, I think instead of coming and saying what went wrong, or you did this and I'm still hurt but I still miss you, instead of approaching it that way, the sun is saying approach it with solutions to the problem. Approach it with, I could have been better at this, and I think you could have been better at this, and together we could have been better at this, instead of just, you did this to me, and da da da. Because if they're that awful, then why are you worrying about reconciling with them anyways? There's definitely hope here. It's just going to be how you approach it. The next card you have is going to be your immediate future. Okay, so over the next few weeks and throughout the month of December. And you have the Death card. And no, that doesn't mean that you're dying or that somebody around you is dying. The Death is actually a very good card, because this is about change and transformation, which is Pisces. This is apparently your month for change, because that's exactly what's been coming up. This Hermit is somebody who is very aware, learning things, gaining their spirituality. The Sun is this hope and inspiration. It seems like something you didn't have. You're moving away from this past, which seems like party, party, party. I hate to say it, but some of you were pretty big partiers. And again, this is you saying, okay, I'm ready to change. I'm going to hang myself out there in hopes that I can figure some things out. And the Death card is saying, look, you know that change is imminent. You know that it's going to happen. You know that you have to transform. This is a rebirth. This is a rebirth of Pisces. And it couldn't come at a perfect time. It's coming when you have a whole new year to look forward to and look ahead. And so change the way you're going to approach this year. Change the way you're going to approach dating. Change the way you're going to approach people. Change the way you approach love and the way you think about love. Because some of you are either all in, it's either all or nothing. If somebody's going to date you, they have to be willing to text all the time and you know, be 100% in. And because that's how Pisces love. They love fully and completely. And that can scare people off sometimes. Trust me. One of my signs is a Cancer, and it's the exact same thing with Cancers. In fact, sometimes Cancers can be harsher in that, where it's just kind of like, I like you, you like me, so why aren't we together getting married and having babies? No, and it doesn't always have to be that extreme. I'm teasing to a certain extent, but you know what I mean. You really do. And sometimes it can be pressure. It can put pressure on people. But the Death card says, hey, you know, here's your chance to change. And there's all these reasons kind of lining up for you. The universe is lining them up, right? It's the holidays, which is nostalgic, and it makes you want somebody, you know, to love and be with, you know, all the romance of the holidays. But then you have a new year coming up, and there's New Year's resolutions, if that's your thing. It's not really my thing, but if that's your thing, then, you know, it's something to look forward to. But bigger than that, you have an entire year, a brand new year, to make goals and make better choices and make better connections and, you know, find love and maybe focus on all these positives and all of these. It's kind of that, like, can't wait to see what happens next. And if you're single, there's a lot in store for you with that Sun card, but you have to make those changes first. And you know it. The dating life has not been easy for you, nor has it necessarily been pleasant. So you got to make these changes at the Death card. If you're looking to reconcile, I think there's two ways to say it. I don't want to cut it short for you, for the people wanting to reconcile, but on this card, I feel like there's two ways to go about this. Either you can have this hope and inspiration, and you can be the bigger person, even if it's not your fault, and you can reach out to them. And if you've reached out to them and it didn't work, and you reach out one more time and it doesn't work, then there's your solution. Your solution is death. You cut it off, you change, you decide that this is going to be the dawn of a new day for you, and this is a complete transformation in your life to find somebody else and not dwell on this person. If you connect with them and things work out, like I said, with the Sun, I think you need to come to the table saying, hey, there's a lot of possibilities here. There's a lot of hope for us. Instead of pointing fingers, we need to work on things and figure out what works for both of us. And then you can have the rebirth of the relationship with the Death card. Death of the old relationship, rebirth of the new. The next card you have is anything tangible, anything external throughout the month of December. It could come in the beginning, middle, end. It could last for a day. It could last for 30. You have the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords, if you're single, is saying that there's a strategy here in place. So like I said here, you're working at putting something in place. Either you've got your sights set on somebody, you want to reconcile with somebody too, being single, which is very interesting because there might be an intertwine there. But for the most part, the Seven says, look, you're staying alone. You're going to be in this man or woman cave because you prefer the solitude than to this craziness, right? And so you're going to sense, like, throughout the month, and I don't think it's going to be quiet, but I think that you're only going to go on dates when it's something that seems really amicable, when it's something that seems like there's really something here that's going to work out for you, that's going to be beneficial, that has major potential. Otherwise, I just don't see you really taking the leap on anybody unless they have, you know, really what you're looking for. I mean, we'll look at the outcome of the month because I feel like this is all leading up to something, right? But here this is saying, look, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to stab myself in the throat to hang out with people just to hang out with them or just to say I'm dating somebody. It's not worth it to you. You'd rather be alone and be happy than to be with somebody for the wrong reasons. If you're looking to reconcile, this says, look, they may not. You may have to do this transformation because the Seven, if you're looking to reconcile or you're broken up, is solitude. But it's also about deception and manipulation. So this is saying, look, don't manipulate the situation. If you're going to approach this person and have a conversation, do it with the pretense of coming out and saying exactly what you need to say and being completely honest. And if they can take it, they can take it. And if they agree and they want to communicate, great. And if they don't, then you may just have to move on because they may also not be completely forthcoming. They may still be hiding something from you, which may be why you guys didn't work out in the first place, because there was some sort of manipulation or deception. And with you, I feel like there's somebody's family too, or friends that don't agree. Somebody's very against this relationship happening, and maybe for one or two of you, but I see like family members being like, no, and you're kind of like trying to figure out a strategy to make this work. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody out there, their parents or their siblings or their friends, they don't like this other person you like for some reason. And, you know, you may want to pay attention to that. All right, the next card you have is anything internal throughout the month. You have the Tower, which again could be, you know, the beginning of the month, the end of the month, throughout the month. This is how you're feeling inside. But let me tell you, the Tower card, you have some very strong cards here, some major arcanas, because you have the Tower, you have the Hermit, you have the Hangman, the Sun, Death. I mean, and very strong arcanas too, because the Tower, this is about breaking things down to the nitty gritty. This is about rebuilding an entire foundation. So if you're single, some of you are like, man, you are changing everything. Some of you may have like stopped drinking, stopped doing drugs. Some of you, because I just feel like, and it may not be as extreme as that. It could just be you're, you know, working out, or you're paying more attention. I don't know. I just get this like, before you're just kind of floating along, and now you're actually like, where am I going to be in 30 years? What do I want to do? It's almost like the clock all of a sudden started ticking for you, and you're like, holy crap, do I really want to be partying and doing this for the rest of my life? Do I really want to date, you know, a different person every day of the week? Or do I want something genuine in my life? And the Tower's saying, if you're single, you are breaking it down. You are rebuilding and starting over. It's like a revelation. And something may have happened to some of you to have that come. Maybe you went to the doctor and you found out you were diabetic, or there's something here for some of you, not all of you, that triggered this, kind of threw you into overdrive of, I got to get my finances together. I got to work really hard, but I also want to find love, and I need to make some changes in myself and changes in lifestyle, or changes in how I'm going to go about things. Or it may just be New Year's resolution. I want to lose weight, or I want to be a better person, or I want to get back in touch with God. Whatever it is, this is pretty major, and this is how you're feeling. Like, you know, some walls have got to come down. And for some of you, dating, some walls have got to come down. Like, it may not even have anything to do. I mean, yeah, I think most of you there's a lot of change here. So most of you are changing, even if it's slightly. But this is also saying, if you're dating, you've been dating like this or been used to relationships like this where you don't have to let yourself love too much, because once upon a time you were hurt really bad and you're worried about doing it again. But you know those walls have to come down. If you are going to get what you want, which is the sun, you got to tear them down. You got to open that heart back up, because Pisces is a water sign and they are all about heart, and that's super important, and you know it. Okay, if you're looking to reconcile, I apologize that I'm going to say this now, because you are the only sign this month, one of the only signs. There's been some 50-50, I think, with, I don't want to say, I was going to say Gemini, but now I'm thinking, I'm not sure that that's correct, but this right here is saying you are needing a big change. You need this death card. You need this change. You need this breakdown of everything. So either you need to split, get completely out of sync with this person. Some of you, it's almost like an obsession. Either they're obsessed with you or you're obsessed with them, but there's definitely some sort of bond here that's super strong, and it's almost like an addiction to each other, but it's not good. It's not healthy. It's almost like an addiction to like making up, breaking up, making up, breaking up, and it's been really unhealthy, and it's really starting to affect your life. But this also says that you may find out that you were completely betrayed, that this is dissolution. You're going to find something out that there's a complete dissolution of everything. Or you're just going to decide a change is imminent. You need that change, and you will no longer be with this person or tolerate this person. And the only way that you might have hope in seeing that happen is if everything changes. And like from the ground up, there's no way of reconciling for some of you unless it's a complete breakdown and rebuild of a relationship. All right, the last two cards you have are your hopes and fears for the outcome in December. So how you're going to feel towards the end. You have the Six of Swords and your actual outcome. And you have the Page of Wands. All right, so if you are single, this is saying that you may be taking, well, first of all, you may be taking some sort of trip. There's some sort of travel here. So maybe part of meeting new people is you may have accepted a job somewhere, you're thinking about taking a job somewhere, or you might be going back home for the holidays and you're gonna like get in touch with old friends, and you're gonna, so for some of you, especially if you're single, you're gonna be traveling. Now, this is also a retreat. So this is doing what the Hermit is suggesting for the month. Being in solitude, but only being in solitude, like the Seven, only being in solitude until you meet somebody really good. And then if you meet somebody really good, you're willing to come out of that solitude. You're willing to travel to meet them 50-50, and not just in location, but in, you know, putting energy into the relationship. This is basically saying you're not willing to take a step unless you know that it's somebody good. And not in a conceited way. You've just put a lot of energy into people who are not on the same page as you, and some of them are really undeserving and did not treat you well. So you're just kind of like, in order for me to come your direction, being completely genuine and open with me. Again, it could be traveling, like you're going to be going home for the holidays, or people are going to be coming to meet you, and there might be somebody special in the mix, like somebody you haven't seen in a long time. You're going to bump into them, or somebody you're excited about because maybe you have like a long distance friend and they're coming out to visit and you're really excited about it because maybe you've had feelings for them for a long time. If you're looking to reconcile, this is abandonment. So I unfortunately think that you are one of the signs so far this month. I still have 4 more to do, but I think that you are one of the signs this month that reconciliation does not look good. But what's interesting is I think you're doing it for you. I think you're doing it for you. You can't be in that headspace anymore because this is you completely abandoning you. This is you going, nope, I'm out of here. I'm taken off. And then once you do and you get out of that headspace, you can see clearly. The sun says, look, there's hope for something better. But the reconciliation on this with the death of the relationship and breakdown of the relationship and abandoning, I really think that that's what you need to move on. It's very interesting because I'm very happy about this outcome. No, it's not the star or some magnanimous, but you have the sun in your future. I mean, it couldn't get better than that. But the Page of Wands, I'm excited about this for both singles and anybody looking to reconcile. If you're single, this says that somebody sparks your interest your curiosity. So maybe this traveler is coming to see you, or maybe you're going to see home and somebody's going to spark your interest. I'm going to pull your theme of the month or not your theme of the month, sorry. I'm going to pull your clarifying cards for the outcome in the distant future while I finish up the last card. So you'll hear that. I apologize. All right, so, but this Page of Wands, if you're single, is somebody's coming in. They're sparking a curiosity. You're going to meet somebody. They're going to be a little different than anybody you've met recently. They're going to spark something in you, and then it's going to engulf in flames. So very interesting. I don't know if you're going to meet them in December, towards the end of December, or if you may just meet them in December and then it becomes something bigger, because your future is this big bright sun, but right here is the spark. So at the end of December, you're meeting someone who's going to spark your interest. Very interesting here. Very interesting. And I just say it and I can't stop smiling because I think it's going to be somebody you're not expecting, or it's going to turn into something you're not expecting. And what's more interesting, well, not more interesting, but just as interesting, because it almost means the exact same thing, is this page. If you're looking to reconcile, I think one of the reasons you're going to make the decision that you're not going to continue with this person. Now, it may either come because you decide to be the bigger person and get in contact with them and they want nothing to do with you, or they're not being nice, or they want to move on, or you decide to be kind of the leader in cutting it off for both of you, since for some of you it's become an obsession. But there's somebody here waiting, because they're going to spark your interest and they're going to give you confidence that you're making the right decision. And I think for some of you it's a long time coming, and this person may not be the person, your twin flame, but they're going to give you just enough emphasis, just enough positive energy to get out of the relationship. Even if they're not the one, they're going to help build the confidence in you that you can move on and be successful without this person. Okay, the next cards you have are your clarifying your outcome, which you have the Nine of Wands, and clarifying your distant future, which is the Ten of Cups. So it's beautiful, Pisces. The Nine of Wands right here, clarifying, is somebody who's very strong, capable, and has a lot of stamina, which is so ironic because you're coming into the month with this card, which also is all about stamina, hard work, and the 9 is about stamina and hard work. But the 9 is less about the work into it and more starting to enjoy the fruits of our labor, right? So the 9 says that you're going to have the strength. Look, if you're looking to reconcile, this card says you have the strength and the capability to move on. If that's what's in store for you, and there's no rebirth of the relationship, or you decide you've had enough and somebody does spark your interest, this is saying, look, you've got this. You're not going to get burned by those flames. You've got this. If you're single, this says, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You've got the strength to do this as well. And this is saying, keep going. You know, don't go back into the old cycle of dating. If you're feeling lonely, if you're like, call a friend, go for a hike, go, see a movie. But this is saying, keep at what you're doing, keep building the momentum, because something amazing is coming. And you can see it right here in the Ten of Cups, because your distant future outcome clarifying card is, it's saying the distant future is the Ten of Cups, okay? And the Ten of Cups is amazing. If you're single, this is family, this is joy, this is peace. So I firmly believe over the next few weeks, more into like January, February, you're going to meet somebody who that is going to build with as well. This 9 is going to build into a 10, even though they're two different signs, or two different, that you've got fire here and you've got water here, but you're going to be building into something amazing. You're going to go 9, 10, and the sun. It's beautiful. And the 10 of Cups is basically saying, look, we're happy, like we're content, we're feeling warm and fuzzy, and that's a really good place to be. If you're looking to reconcile, this is about peace. So you're going to be at peace with yourself. You're going to feel peace with your ex. Even if you don't get the closure you want, you're going to feel some sort of peace. Once you decide to either go for it and try and get them back, and if it works, fantastic. But for the majority of you that try or decide that that's not for you, the 10 of Cups is what is going to show up in the end, and you're going to start feeling it and knowing that you're going to be okay, that life goes on, and that you'll get through this too. It sucks, right? Because sometimes you get tired of having to be so strong, and it's easier to just say, screw it. But in the end, having the Sun and the 10 of Cups, I mean, there's some amazing changes here, Pisces, and I think you're in for you have one of the most upcoming positive 2018s that I've seen, because everybody seemed to have had a little more positive read this month than last month, and maybe, you know, I don't know, September was hard on a lot of people, but Pisces, these changes that are coming, the future looks fantastic. So I can't wait to talk to you soon. Like I said, I think I'm going to do some mid-months this month and see if you guys like them. So I'll talk to you soon.